Hello Kamen Rider Dragon Knight fans, and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today, following my Kamen Rider Dragon Knight Toku Toylines video that I posted yesterday, I wanted to take a look back at some of the items that I actually have from the toy line. I have a very few items from the toy line, not a lot. I just have a couple things here. As you can see, pretty much just 3 items, 2 of the basic 4-inch figures and the actual deluxe advent belt. So I wanted to go ahead and take a look at them here. So the funny thing is, I've had these for such a long time. I did not buy them specifically for that video or anything like that, or for this video or anything. I've had them for close to a decade or so. For the 2 4-inch figures, I got those back in like 2013, 2012, something around there, because they were still at my Toys R Us 3 to 4 years after Dragon Knight was over in the clearance section. So I got the 2 of them there. I got the only 2 that they had, and I never went back and got any other ones. And then the advent belts I got on Amazon in like 2013 for like 30 something bucks. It was like a gift. I think it was like a birthday gift. It was actually my very first Kamen Rider belt I ever got, was the advent belt from Dragon Knight. So kind of an interesting one there. Maybe one day I'll finally get a Ryuki V buckle. That would be a lot better than this, obviously. But I like the novelty of this to some extent. But let's go ahead and take a look at the figures really quick here. So here is Kamen Rider Blank Knight, one of the 4-inch figures. I wish I actually would have been able to find Dragon Knight and not Blank Knight. This is what we're working with here. So as you can see here, I think the sculpt on these figures is actually pretty good. I don't think these figures are bad. They remind me a lot of like the Candy Toy Soto or Shoto figures, which we will compare them to here in a second, if you are familiar with those for Kamen Rider they're like done today. But for the most part, for this being a cheap like $7 figure from like 2009, it's not bad. They got the compound eyes painted in there, so it looks good. The detailing is all nice to where there's no dragon symbol on the head, and there's no like dragon symbol on the visor. It's just the blank visor and such like that. No dragon symbol on the belt or anything, so they got all the detail correct. And then you get just this basic sword, which is kind of warped on mine a little bit, but whatever. But the articulation for these, that there's nothing in the arms except for the fact that they rotate, so there's nothing else. They don't like bend at the elbow or anything. They do twist at the hand though, so there's that. The heads are on a ball joint, so you can roll them all over the place, have them look around. And the legs can bend, they can move outward, and they can bend at the knee. So that's it. That's all these do. Very simple, very basic, but I wasn't expecting that much more. I'm actually going to get a new figure of Blank Knight here, because Soto Chronicle 2 just released in Japan for all of these toys, and for the Ryuki Soto stuff. And so I'll have a better version, I guess, of this. But let's go ahead and take a look at it with this. So this is the Soto Chronicle Ryuki figure that just came out in, I believe this was July of 2021 that this just came out. And here it is next to the Dragon Knight 4-inch figure. So as you can see, the Soto definitely does tower over it a little bit. So these are actually kind of more like 3-inch figures than 4-inch, because this is more like a 4-inch one. But yeah, you can see that this is like an $8 candy toy figure, and there's stickers on this one and everything, but it's a really, really good figure though. But you had to like put stickers on there, like the belt and on the drag visor and everything. And there is a blank form Ryuki in the second set, so that's what this is. So yeah, there's a little bit of a comparison. We'll have a better comparison because it'll actually be the exact same character when we take a look at Kamen Rider Wing Knight, or just Kamen Rider Knight from Ryuki. So as you can see, basically the same kind of male body mold as we see with the Blank Knight figure, but it's very blue. It's definitely, I think, a little too blue. Helmet, pretty good. There's a little bit of paint chipping on mine, but whatever. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the same kind of thing. You do get his visor though, so they did sculpt that pretty nicely. Tiny little bit of gold paint there and everything. So you can take that out of his hand, maybe. He's probably been in his hand here for like years. And there's a peg on the side there, so you can peg it into the belt buckle. And there's no proper holster, but it just kind of, pegs in there. And if you didn't notice, or maybe you did, there's these little peg holes all around him on the little like caps that are on the Ryuki suits. And anywhere where there's a little cap, you can plug the sword in. So you can plug it into his arm if you wanted to do that. You can plug it into his back if you wanted to do that. So let's do that really quickly. So yeah, you can do that if you wanted. I don't know why you would, But hey, the option is there because it is the same kind of peg system. So I kind of like that. That's kind of neat. But for the most part, obviously, you just kind of have him hold it. But comparing that to the Soto figure of Kamen Rider Knight, I think the Soto definitely wins out here. First of all, the Soto figure did actually paint the blue compound eyes under there. You might be able to see that. But also the color is just so much more accurate. It's kind of like, not gray, but kind of like a dark blue compared to this much lighter blue. It's not supposed to be this light of a blue for Wing Knight. So I definitely think the Soto figure wins out here. And also you get a proper holster for it on the Soto figure and everything. And just detail-wise, there's really no contest. But then again, these are like a 13-year difference between those, so I can see why. But those are the only figures that I actually got. But those came, if I can get them to stand up, those came with cards, which we'll take a look at here. So the only two Dragon Knight cards I ever got were Nasty Vent and Copy Vent, because those were the cards that came with these specific figures. So here's Nasty Vent there. Apparently it has an attack of 1,000. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. There's the Kamen Rider Knight symbol there. Artwork is the same from Ryuki, but the design is definitely different than Ryuki's. I'll probably put Ryuki's card up here, maybe like right next to it here, so you can see how different it actually is. And then there's just these little like punched out holes at the top, which is what would tell the drag visor to do whatever it does, but I don't have the drag visor, so I can't show you that. But on the back, it says Advent card, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and then it says Advent card, but it's like mirrored. It's weird. It's kind of a weird design, but you know, there's that, I guess. And then you have Copy Vent, which same kind of artwork from Ryuki, and I guess that's the Blank Knight symbol, just this like circle. So there's that. Here it is compared to the actual Ryuki Copy Vent. And then the back is the exact same. So now it's time to talk about the main big ticket item here, the Advent Belt. So here is the Advent Belt. I'll just kind of move some things out of the way here. Here it is. So it's designed decently well. I mean, it looks like the V-buckle. It looks like what you see on the show. Obviously, they've taken some liberties with some of the design elements here. The belt strap itself, pretty garbage. It's just like this big rubber thing. I put like a hook there when I was younger so it could fit me. It doesn't fit me anymore, even with that modification. So on the back, it takes two AAA batteries. It's just completely barren back there. We'll turn it on in a second because I do want to show the actual Advent deck. So here's the deck that you get. You just get this blank, normal deck, but it's covered in mirrors. So you might be able to see me at some point here, especially on the back. The back is just a gigantic mirror. So hi to everybody watching this video. There I am, recording the video right now on my phone. But yeah, so it's just this big piece of plastic, but I don't get why they don't include any cards with the Advent Belt. You do get cards with the figures and stuff that you can put into this. So the way you would probably do it would be probably this way. So there's like the spring mechanism, so you just kind of push that down, slot the cards in there, and then yeah, and you can still pull them out and everything like that, but that's how that's going to function. It doesn't actually open up like the decks from Ryuki did. And these are these parts, which I like this. I like this idea. I get why people would probably just prefer to actually have the decks, but you know, they did this instead. These interchangeable cards that were all of the different deck designs for this. So only like two or three of these are actually going to match in color to the rest of the deck, being black plastic, because all these ones should have like rafts should be all gold and such like that. But we'll take a look at these really quickly here. So we have Ryuki or Dragon Knight, and these are double-sided. So on the back you have Imperior/Spear. You have Odin/Wrath, and on the back you have Axe/Tiger. I don't know why I started with the Dragon Knight name that time. I'm saying the Dragon Knight name and the Ryuki name. You have Scissors and Incisor, or also Fom and Siren. Oja/Strike, and Verde/Camo. And then you have Guy/Thrust, and Knight/Wing Knight. And this one bothers me. So this one is obviously modeled after the original Ryuki belt version as well. For whatever reason, the original V-Buckle came with like this all-blue Knight deck, which as you can see on the Soto figure, the original Knight deck should be black with the symbol there. The blue version of this deck is the Survive Mode version. So technically, this is the Survive Mode deck, because he should just have a black background there. I don't get why that always was a thing that happened, but you know, it is. So I will show off what every single deck looks like in the driver as well, I suppose. But you might notice there's a couple missing. Basically, we don't have Knight's proper deck, or / Wing Knight's proper deck. We don't have Ryuga / Onyx's deck. We don't have the Ryuki Survive / Dragon Knight Survive deck. We don't have the Blank Form deck, and that's the main ones. Technically, if this was Ryuki, we'd also be missing like Abyss, I guess, from Decayed, but obviously Dragon Knight never did that. So really the main one that's missing is Onyx from Dragon Knight. I really wish we would have got that somehow. I think they could have just done one more card that was Blank Knight and Onyx. I think that really would have worked. But, I mean, granted, these are just like pieces of cardboard. You could totally like Photoshop one and print it out yourself. There's nothing preventing you from doing that. It would be very easy. So I've always kind of wanted to do that, and I just never bothered to do that. So basically, to swap the decks, I mean, it's pretty simple. You just take the deck, and then you just take the card. Make sure you slide in there. Make sure that over time it will fray every single edge of this, because it slots in there like that. And there you go. So that is the finished deck. And this one I'm talking about, were the ones that are actually supposed to be black in color, really do work nicely with that black plastic. But we've delayed it enough. Let's go ahead and turn on the Advent belt and show you what this does. So obviously there's an on and off switch down here. It'll make kind of that breathing sound, I guess, which is supposed to be, I suppose, the belt like forming on their belts or whatever. I don't know. So basically there's like this little rectangle notch in there you might be able to see. And on the driver, on the spinning dial, there's this piece where it's kind of divoted in a little bit. So you're going to want to make sure to line that up with the side of the deck or it won't work. So it's kind of a pain. There we go. Let me line that up a little bit more properly. So that's what I'm talking about. You got to line that little divot area out and then take the deck and slot it in there. So when you line that up and then kind of clip it in there with just friction or whatever, you got that. So now to transform, basically there is this lever piece, I guess, or little button. You're going to push down on that. It's going to spin the deck around, and it doesn't even want to stay in place right now. And then to stop it, there's this button down here that you'll click to stop the spinning. So here we go. Kamen Rider. You can kind of just keep clicking it forever. Let it spin around. And then stop it. And it should be able to stop it right, facing forward. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But from a distance, this looks pretty accurate. I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper version than like the Bandai Japan one would be or whatever. You can still kinda take the cards out of the deck when the belt is like this. It's a lot more difficult to do so because it wants to spin around. But you can kind of try to do it. But I don't know, it's kind of a process. It's not as easy as the Ryuki one was. Because everything wants to spin around. So we'll just show you the different deck images in there. Maybe, if I can get his card to slot in there. Alright, so there is Spear and Imperiors in there. I mean, you can imagine what this would look like in your head, but I'm going to do it anyway. We've got Wing Knight / Knights in there, or I guess technically the Survive mode, because it's very blue. And on the other side, I almost dropped it. There we go, got a grip on it now. We got Guy and Thrust. And then, of course, we also have one of my all-time favorites, Oja, or Strike. Verde and Camo. Crazy we made such a big deal out of Camo over here compared to Verde, who's in one special in Ryuki. Scissors / Incisor, which looks good because it's one of those black colored ones. Fom / Siren, and I swear that this card is yellowed over the years. It definitely looks a lot more yellow than it did when I first got it. I think. It could just be crazy. And then we got Odin / Wrath, which he should have an all gold buckle, but even Ryuki didn't do that. Oh, what? Right at the end we drop the card. And Tiger / Axe, which is another one of my all-time favorites. And then we'll go back to Ryuki / Dragon Knight. And there we go. So that's it, basically. That's all I had to show off for the Kamen Rider Dragon Knight toy line. I'll probably do a video later on as well, because while I was in the making of the video from yesterday, I actually bought the Advent Cycle from Dragon Knight. Just to have another piece of Dragon Knight toys, but also because I think it might be able to scale pretty well with the Soto Chronicle Ryuki figures, so I might be able to use it for that. But yeah, I also, by the way, highly recommend these. I know these are not Dragon Knight specifically, but these are really, really, really good. There's 3 sets of these so far that give you pretty much every single rider from the show, and they are absolutely incredible, so absolutely go get these Ryuki Chronicle figures. But that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this little look back at some of the Kamen Rider Dragon Knight toys that I actually did have. I hope you guys enjoyed the Toku Toylines video from yesterday. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you're all having a pretty good Black Friday. I hope Thanksgiving went well for you, and you're hoping to find some deals and such today, or you're just relaxing today or whatever. But thank you all for watching, and until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR. And until next time, let's ride!